Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Decorate with Dana. So I have another thrift store makeover type of video for you guys today. I am just loving this, going to the thrift store and buying something inexpensive and just making it into something beautiful that fits into my decor. So I am doing today these pumpkin urns and these fabric sweater knit pumpkins. So these are obviously fall DIYs, and no, I am not ready to decorate for fall yet, but I am trying to get started so that all my DIYs are done when I'm ready to decorate, usually at the beginning of September. So I will walk you through how I do these two super simple DIYs, and I will chat with you guys at the end. So the first project I'm going to do are these pumpkin kind of like topiaries in these garden urns. I found these at Goodwill and they were, well, it says $12.99, but they were 50% off. So for $6.25, and they are in beautiful condition. I don't know if these have actually ever been used. They literally are in perfect condition. So I'm going to, these are really perfect and they wouldn't need to be painted at all, but I just don't want to keep this color. So I am actually going to spray paint both of these. The color that I did in my last DIY when I painted the Crocs, that gray color. If you didn't see that video, I can link that at the end of this video. But anyways, I am going to take these out and spray paint that gray color. And probably do 2 coats. I'll start with one of these upside down, start with the first coat with them upside down, and then I'll flip them over. And then we'll see how the coverage is from there.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you've tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion. So I'm going to go ahead and spray paint 2 coats on these urns, and then while those are drying, I'll get started on the next project and then come back to finishing this at the end. So for the sweater knit pumpkin DIY, I picked up a couple of these sweaters at Goodwill for $2. I have some rubber bands, some dried beans, whatever kind you have, or whatever you want to buy, and then some fiber fill, and then I have some jute twine. I also am going to be using a thin white type of rope, as well as a wide-eyed, like duller needle, I'm assuming for like maybe yarn or something. It's not super sharp, but it does have a wide eye to fit that thicker string through and to be able to make the ridges in the pumpkins. You're pushing me up to the top. I saw the clouds looking angry, but then the sky reached my mind. And when I space out, I see the possibilities unfolding the way that I want. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement that explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. So you could actually leave the pumpkin just like this if you want a more rounder pumpkin. I kind of want the little flatter ones with the ridges. So I'm going to say the first one didn't go quite as easily. I really wasn't sure exactly what I was doing or how it was going to come out. So this one to sew was a little more difficult. By the second and third one, it was much easier. So, you know, the first one, you'll see me struggle a little bit, but it does get much easier. And I do think that they turned out really cute. One more thing with these sweater pumpkins, you do want to kind of go for a tighter knit sweater. This green one, I love the color. It's beautiful, but it is a little bit holier and not quite as tight of a knit as the white and gray sweater. It worked out, but definitely the gray and white one turned out a little cuter because you really can't see the beans or the fill through the sweater.
Stepping out, it's Friday night. How I'm longing for this day. Yes.
So to just kind of walk you through it a little, you're going to start at the bottom of the pumpkin, push the needle up through as close to the base as you can, and then when you bring it back down around the side, that's where you're going to want your ridge to go, and then you're going to put the needle back up through the bottom, you know, to the top again. And then once all your ridges are done, I just immediately go back down through the top to the bottom, pull the string out, and then tie a knot, and that's it. So, you know, and you can kind of play with the string. You can move it around a little bit to space the ridges out a little more evenly.
She's the one I'm thinking of. Hey, the only one I'm thinking of. Hey, she's everything I'm dreaming of. Hey, the one that I can live without. Oh, that smile makes me tripping out. I wanna dance with you tonight. Yeah, you close to me, feeling good. I believe I gotta have you in my life. You got that good, good vibe. I want to spend some time back here with you. Oh, I got this good old times. You want to spend some time back here with me. Oh, and time after time I am wondering who is she to me. I'm gonna tell you right now, 'cause she's the one I'm thinking.
So just a quick rundown, you would cut the sleeve off of the sweater, turn it inside out and tie a rubber band closest to the one end, and then flip it back over so that the rubber band part is on the inside. Put a little bit of the beans in, maybe about 2/3 of a cup of beans, just to help it hold its shape, and then put the fiber fill in the rest of the way. Tie off the top with another rubber band, and then tie twine, you know, you can trim the top to however long you want the stem to be. Tie the twine around it and then just continue to wrap it up around the top part of the sweater. And I just finished it off with hot glue to kind of get it to stay in place. And then that would be the actual stem of your pumpkin. And then you would go ahead with the sewing part.
She's the one I'm thinking of. Hey, the only one I'm thinking of. Hey, she's everything I'm dreaming
so I have here 6 pumpkins. I had these from last year, so I didn't want to go out and buy anything new if I didn't have to. So I am going to pry off the stems of the bigger 4 pumpkins and tape off the stems of the smaller ones. And I'm just going to give them a really light spray paint coat with my Krylon Color Master in flat white. I'm not looking for total coverage because I don't know. I didn't necessarily want them stark white, but I don't want them this color, and I want the color to be somewhat uniform. So I'm going to spray them lightly and see how I can get the color to come out after I pry off the stems off the bigger ones and tape off the smaller stems.
Wanna laugh and wanna cry. I don't wanna waste my time. So baby, we should start living now. Baby, we should start living now. Baby, we should start living now. I don't wanna waste my time. So baby, we should start living now. Baby, we should start living now. Baby, we should start living now. Baby, we should start living now.
I can't believe someone like me is here with somebody like you. There's something about you and I know why. I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's in your smile and in your feet. It's high and low and in between. And I am glad to let you know, but only if you give me a kiss. Yeah, it's no secret at all. It's so obvious to all of us. Yeah, you're perfect.
So now that everything is painted, the last thing to do is to assemble these pumpkin urns. So like I said, these are pumpkins that I already had from last year, so I just went ahead and spray painted these. And I keep on hand these grapevine wreaths. So I actually have 2, I think these are the 12-inch grapevine wreaths. I can grab them at Walmart. They're like $3 or something, and I just keep them on hand because they're good to have for DIY projects. And then those are the 2 urns that I got at Goodwill for $6.50 each. And then I just have a bunch of this eucalyptus stems. You can use whatever kind of greenery that you have or that you like. Lamb's ear would be beautiful with this too. I just like a little bit more of a muted green like those are, rather than a real stark green to kind of go along with the rest of my decor. So this is all of the stuff I'm going to use. So now I'm just going to assemble these.
Yeah, you're perfect. From the way you laugh to the way you behave.
So there is really no right or wrong way to do this. I'm putting in the eucalyptus stems, kind of bending them over. I want them looking like they're trailing over the pot, you know, like a garden plant would. And then the grapevine wreath sits on top to kind of keep the plant draping over the side, and then the pumpkin stacked on top. Now once I did that, I didn't love how much of the grapevine wreath was showing. I felt like more greenery needed to be around it and just needed to be a little fuller. So I went ahead and took a garland that I currently had, snipped off a piece, wrapped it around the grapevine wreath to kind of fill it in with some greenery a little more, and then put the pumpkin stack up on top of it. And I liked that much better, but it's all personal preference. It's whatever you like. To some people, what I did may be too much greenery. I just wanted it to look like the pumpkins were coming out of the greenery more than anything.
Spin my world around and around. Ooh, I know that you're worth it. 'Cause now you're perfect, amazing. Say I'm kissing you. It's not what you expect from someone so perfect.
slipping away.
So I think these turned out adorable, and they will be a perfect addition to either side of my front door on my front porch. That's exactly where I plan on using them.
Just let me know that I am safe here in your arms. I wanna stay, stay. I'm slipping away, so don't let me go now. Your love is exceptional. It fills me up. It's out of control, oh baby.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this thrift store makeover DIYs for fall. I think it just shows you can go into the thrift store and just use your imagination. You can really think of something that you want to do. Look to Pinterest for some ideas, you know, but you can really just turn a lot of the stuff at the thrift store into something beautiful that fits into your decor for so much less expensive than you would going to a store to buy it brand new. So I hope this gave you guys some ideas. I hope you enjoy what I did here. If you are new, I hope you will consider subscribing. And I have a lot more DIYs coming up this fall because I am kind of changing my color palette to exactly this, kind of creams, grays, whites, and that green, that light bluish green color and mint greens. I just like that neutral palette, and I just want to switch it up. And I have a lot of decor from the traditional colors, so this year I kind of want to just DIY a lot of what I already have to fit with the new decor that I want to have. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in my next video.